Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminisces. Today we're doing a recent find. I've heard it 2 or 3 times and it's probably, well, not probably, will be going into my purchased pile very soon. Now, Beyond the Trees have a sound which you will hear elsewhere, and it's pointless having that as a criticism because just about every band you listen to nowadays, 95% of them will have a sound you will find elsewhere. But the point I want to make is, or trying to make, is that just because there's a familiarity to a sound, and of course for many people that's exactly what they want. It's the sound of the music they want to listen to, but it does mean that bands have to have nuances in their sound, and sometimes they're very subtle, to mean that you hold them in higher regard than other bands that have the same sort of sound. And so for me, this artist has managed to find and employ those nuances, which means that rather than just sort of regard them in the sense of, yeah, you sound like these and not bother, mate, in a different, what was I say? In contrast, in this occasion, I shall actually buy the album. So let's listen to what it is that I like about it, shall we? We shall. Yes, we shall. So I'm sure you'll have heard music that sounds like this before, and again, that's not a to any detriment. It's the way it is. So it all depends on how the artist employs those elements as to whether or not it gets into your noggin or not. And for me, again, it's very subtle, the difference between me enjoying an artist like this or not, and I do enjoy it, and as I say, I will be buying this very soon. Now, it's one of the things, this form of black metal, and sometimes when I call this black metal, I'm thinking this is punk rock, mate, to be honest. It sort of sounds more like punk rock to me, in that sort of there's a long drony guitar, and yes, you've got the lead melody on top, which gives it obviously that folkish tone to a degree, but does it matter? It don't, does it? But anyway, going off at tone. Oh yeah, so sometimes that melody can be too chirpy and chipper for me, and it depends on the context. But here, there's a slight seriousness to it that means that it doesn't have that sort of smiliness about it, which some of these bands have, that the too chipper, and that works with some genres, but here I prefer it to be a little bit more dour, although this isn't dour at all, but nonetheless it's not, as I say, it's not gigglesome. for me, and this might be wider than mine, but there's a certain naivety to this music and this artist. I don't mean naivety in the sense of being gullible. I mean in sort of the sense of it being uncorrupted in many ways. There's a sort of I get the impression of somebody creating music for their own delight, and not being too fussed about what anybody else thinks, and sort of not trying to be too clever, you know, in a way, just trying to keep things pure and intent, and pure in sound, really. So I suppose that's one of those nuances that means that I like this more than similar sounding bands. It's that sort of not being contrived, and being honest with the music that you make. One of the things I like about this artist is the vocals. The black metal vocals are my favourite sort of vocal, but so often bands can get it wrong. But here it's like you've got a pit bull on a leash, snarling away. So it is a nice counterpoint to the more sort of friendlier tone of the music. Is sort of it's almost like that tree. If that tree was the vocals, the artist's vocals, then the trees around it is the music keeping well out of its way. It's a vicious bugger, and you know, keep your distance. But it works all well together, as often a counterpoint will. Yes, and what was I going to say? Yeah, so there's a good 2 minutes or so there of slower music, but we are not fools. We're not fooled by that sort of thing. You know, we know that very often, or 99 times out of 100, it's going to lead to a race to the finish at some point. But I did enjoy the tanking bass that came at the end, sort of proper anvil bass there. That you know, it was a bit like the wires they use on an oil rig to hold up the drilling string. It was you know, thick and meaty, and designed to carry a load. So there you go. Now, I think one of the reasons I enjoy music like this when it's done well, or in the way I like it, is that it does remind me of, in its composition, those sort of ripsaw punk songs of old, and even if you want to go back further to the sort of raw rock and roll of the 50s, you know, it's got that simple repeating tone, and that's all you want. Sometimes, you know, you want music in its purest and simplest form, and this goes some way to meeting that desire. If you want something more complex, there's plenty out there to go and listen to, but sometimes you just want something that's more or less straight to vein, and there's no, as I say, there's no nothing contrived about it. You just enjoy it. It's almost danceable, that, isn't it? You could quite happily, what do you kids do? Mosh, is it? But you know, you could thrash about to that quite happily, couldn't you? You could. Anyway, click your bollocks. Catch you all next time. Cheerio.